I've recently finished getting Dimensional to work with HTC Vive and tracked controllers, so today I wanted to give you a quick look at how I've gone around the implementation of the controllers. So before, everything was based on targeting with your gaze, and now you've got a laser pointer with one of the controllers, so you can simply point where you want to teleport to, and you can set targets for Digby and send him off towards them. One of the interesting things I noticed doing this was that I've got a mechanism where you can call Digby to where your controller is, so you can give him a position to start from. And if you hold your button on that controller, he'll follow your controller around so you can set his position. Now initially, the approach I took was when you call him to you, he stuck you to your controller and he just moved around with your controller as though he was stuck to the end of it. And that highlighted one of the problems with tracked controllers. Because you were moving him around as though you were holding him, and there was no weight, it suddenly felt like a hollow plastic object rather than a solid metal object with high mass. So that's why I've gone for this approach now where he follows the controller around, and then you don't get that sensation. And you could have the same problem if you're interacting with items in the environment as well. So for example, pushing these around, if I just used my ghost-like hands to do that, because there's no haptic feedback, you wouldn't get a sense of the weight of that object. But using Digby to interact means that you're kind of isolated from those sensations and expectations, and you still get the intended sense of mass of the objects you're interacting with. Now, with Dimensional, the story says that your presence is projected into these chambers, so your physical body's not here. So that kind of makes sense that I can pass these controllers through because there's not a physical presence there. I can pass them through objects in the world. But that gave me another challenge in the game. It meant you could actually break through puzzles, so I could put my hand through a wall and then teleport to the other side. So the way I've come up with to work around that is to have a rule in the game that says you've got to be able to see where you're targeting. So for example, if I try and teleport around this corner, that'd not let me teleport until I just look around a little bit, and then the target gets enabled, which seems a fairly sensible rule. It stops you doing things as well, like holding the controller above your head and teleporting to platforms you shouldn't be able to get to yet. And similarly with targeting Digby, it works the same way. Now if you hold the controllers close to you, you'll see you then get the instructions on what to do, and they're context sensitive as well. So you'll see there, one of the controls, you can click the grip, that puts you into first person mode, and then you can use the trackpads on the controllers to move around. So there you go, so that's just a brief look at how the controllers have been implemented. So I hope you like the way I've done that and you enjoy it in the game. Now, one of the advantages as well is that because we've got gamepad support, which still works really well, if these controllers get occluded, if I just hide those away, the system just defaults back to gaze-based tracking, so I can just target things just by looking at them. And I can still recall Digby, moving him around using my body position instead. So everything still works really well whether using the gamepad or the tracked controllers.